details. All right, I just want to show some details I made up for around the new field scene. These are things that I had seen just wandering around out and about. Looked interesting, so I figured, hey, I'll try to make them and put them out there somewhere. I don't know where yet, but somewhere. These are things, I don't know if they're vents for gas lines or something like that, but I have seen them around. Maybe I'll throw a picture up that kind of shows what I'm after. The one there with the little angles on top, I carefully filed that down. I think it's a 3/32 styrene rod, and then I carefully glued it together. The other ones I just kind of bent, and they don't hold shape exactly, but they kind of convey what I'm looking for. And I got a couple what I'm calling buried fiber optic cables and a telephone one, and then I made some warning signs. Again, it was for, let me see if I can show this here. Let me get that out of there. That's annoying the crap out of me. These are, again, for buried fiber optics. And I made up a sign similar to one that I had seen out and about near the CSX. And I don't think it's going to focus. But what it says, I didn't have any caution buried fiber optic cables. But again, out of that N scale set, I do have caution watch for fork trucks. And please no smoking. Okay, so that's not quite correct. And this is not going to focus at all. Oh, snap in there. Close enough. So again, from the distance that we're going to be looking at this, it'll convey the fact that there's some type of warning there. I'm not going to try to make or even search for, maybe they're out there somewhere, caution buried fiber optic cable. That's what these signs were for, but they're made up, they're good enough. So they're going to go out there on the layout somehow. To paint those, I found that this is a Humbrol number 230. Seemed to be kind of the bluish gray color that looked right. The tops of the fiber optics are orange, and I found a kind of a bluish color, I think, for a telephone line. So those are ready to go. Another thing I'm thinking of doing, maybe for around the farm scene or the field scene, I had a bunch of these that I had made up from the old layout, just little wooden dowels that were kind of sanded and shaped and then stained for a 1950s era guardrail. Well, it also might make a relatively decent looking fence, and I have to figure out if I want to put it out there. It's kind of a pain. You have to drill a hole. I had these that had holes already drilled in them, number 78 holes for 015 music wire, but if I want to make the fence longer, I have to drill more, and that's annoying. So either I stay with it about a foot long, if I put these at about 2 inches apart, looks okay. I have about a foot of it, or if I want to add some more, I do have extras back there. I just got to freaking drill holes, which I don't really feel like doing. Because I did one here and the holes are off, and I have to put it in a vise. It's annoying. Anyway, so these details are going to go out onto the scene, and pretty soon we'll go out and see what things look like out there. All right, here's a kind of an overview where we are. Not done yet, but far enough along that I think I can get ready and put this. Like I said, the update just before this kind of showed more of the work, getting it done and in, and it went longer than I thought, as usual. But now it's in, and it's been blended, and I'm starting to do some of the detailing to it. So I figured I'll kind of get a view here. See, trees are being added, a dead tree there in the center, because I saw that in one of the fields I got some photographs of. Then I added a little interesting story here. You can see there's a little footbridge there going across and up into the field, because what happened was, this was a couple years ago, when some of the fellas, a guy and his brother that lived here in the farmhouse, they used to go over there and hang out. And a couple times they go across there and take some of their girlfriends with them. Well, before that was there, one of the girls fell and got, let's just say, got kind of a mess down there in the bog that's down there. And said, look, if you guys want us to go with you, you got to do something. So they cobbled together a little, I'll say they scratch built it out of scale 4x4s and 2x6s and a 2x4 across the top, and they glued it. Okay, they hammered it together. They drug it across there one night, laid it in there, and there it is. So now their girlfriends would go with them. So hey, I'm just telling you what happens here. And I did start adding some. I'm going to show you a little bit how I'm doing this. Some of these taller weeds. They're kind of proliferating throughout. I don't know if that's right or what would actually be there. I don't know. There's some love grass from MP Scenery and some Flor goldenrod. There's a Flor low bush. And then I kind of stopped here because it's doing some of that detail work is really tedious. And then I said the hill is done. And that's when I say trees, that's what I mean by trees. Now again, they're not anywhere near done, but I'm not talking Woodland Scenics trees. I'm talking tall, gnarly, you know, they kind of grow up, foliage at the top, and this whole area is going to be wooded. So it's going to take a lot of, well, a fair number of scratch-built trees. So that's what I'm going to have to start working on next. But it's not going to be, not even going to be some of these type trees that are from knock. All right, so this area is done. A little dark here in this corner, but yeah, there's some more weeds in there and things around the shed. And it's somewhat blended in along here. Probably need to do some more detailing up on that side. And then I did get to this embankment, kind of did a little work on that, adding some more stuff into it. And I'm starting to work around this embankment here. The far side, or the right hand side, has been kind of blended in. Then we got this done over here, or started I should say. You know, this part of the embankment. This is going to be kind of a washed out gully area. It's just the way the foam laid. It kind of had a natural depression there. So I said, oh, okay. So that's why it's got a little scruffier and just some raw dirt there. And then I'm going to put probably some water effects down there, and probably a little, puddle or a larger puddle down there. And that's got that's got a Flor cow pasture, late summer. It's got, actually this is a Flor autumn short lawn. And that's got some Heki foliage put in there. Some Heki wild grass to blend things in. Micro Flor. This is a middle green micro Flor. It looks real good. Tends to blend things in. This is some of the Heki, I think Blader Flor. More for trees, but also makes kind of good low bushes. Up in here, then I put some hairspray on it and sprinkled in some of the Woodland Scenics yellow from their flowers. That stringy stuff you can stretch out. I tried it, didn't look right. Because the main mat that's behind all this is a Flor summer pasture, I think it is. I'll show you the raw mat, but that's put in, and then I sprinkle hairspray and sprinkle some of the yellow in around here to make it look kind of like, yellow flowers, dandelions. There's also some other ground foams, leaf foliage, different varieties sprinkled in there. These are two Flor low shrubs. That's another Flor shrub. Did dig in some bare areas there just because looked like it needed it. So all of this still needs some more work. Probably do a lot of additional stuff with weeds and filigrane busha, such as there, this type of stuff, just the kind of the low scraggly type stuff. All that's got to go in. And there's a scene from this side. And there's some of those low, gnarly, vertical stuff. Vertical, that's the thing, you know. It's hard when I'm at this point. You look at pictures, and a lot of the things you see, the weeds, the foliage, plant life, it's vertical. It's not clump. It's not laying down low. It's not horizontal, which is what we tend to do. For example, I took one. I know it's going to show up. There's one. There's one vertical weed standing proud there by the railroad tracks. Hopefully he doesn't get stuck up in a vacuum. And there should be a lot of that, because if you look at pictures, and here's another place where I did some. Right back along there. There's a bunch of vertical weeds put along there. Very tedious, but that's what it looks like. And this is something you can do over time. You don't have to have all this done, obviously, on day one, but I think it really enhances the look of it. If you get down, kind of looking through here, you can see what it looks like. So this area has been scenic a little bit more. A little dark over here. This is one area I probably ought to get some more lights. But that's been pretty much worked in. I don't know if I'm going to keep those two trees. Just want to put something there. But this is that area there. I think they came out pretty nice. Put some cattails up in there, and like I said, just some rough foliage up around the... Let me just drop the f-stop here and see if I can make it look a little bit better. Of course, if I could get the camera to cooperate, I don't know if that helps at all. Yeah, a little bit. You can still see some of the water that was down there. And again, this scene here was pretty much created with two pieces, or actually one, of the model scene forest floor mats cut in half, and, you know, one half laid here, one half laid here, then all the rocks put in to kind of join it down. On the back sides were mostly horsetail foliage as shrubs that were laid in first, and then other items. There's one silflor bush right there, and then other Flor and whatnot, and twigs and stuff laid in there to kind of make it look really rough and brambly. I don't know if you can see it. There's some of the Walthers, actually by Knock, Scene Master, some of their stinging nettles laid in there. So I kind of like the way that looks. I think it looks pretty good. I don't normally compliment myself, but every now and then I do like what I do. So I'm going to say, when just one little bit of fall, just one little piece, it's got some fall color to it. And like I said, this will be kind of some type of rough earth, and then this is where the substation is going to be. This is the material. This is from Pollock. It's a Czech manufacturer. It's their wild bushes. But what I noticed is, if you look at it, it kind of, the ends and the tips can be used as the vertical weeds. So you very carefully cut into it. And there's some fellows getting ready to go on the layout. And then you just get some tweezers, put a little bit 3-in-1 glue, and you stick them in. I don't know if it looks believable or not, but you can kind of see where they've been placed in the scenery. And the big thing I did up here that I think really kind of made it look nice is, again, the teddy bear fur looked okay, and I started to run in some of the Heki Flor. There's some of the lighter green. There's some darker green stuff laid in throughout, and then came back, hairsprayed, and used some leaf foliage to sprinkle it in there. That, to me, really kind of brought it to life. Because if you get low, and again, the lighting isn't ideal, I'm not sure it's going to focus, but it really starts to look like a darn nice grass field. And I used Heki, the Heki foliage, leaf foliage, because it's really fine. The Knock stuff is good, MP Scenery stuff is good, but they're a little bit bigger leaves, so to speak. This stuff from Heki is really fine. Used a couple colors, a middle green, a dark green, and a fall blend. There's some of it right there. And then also some from Tremendous, which is really fine. Now, Tremendous is a little bit harder for us here in the States to get. They're in the UK. Do a great job. They're really good stuff. And I happened to buy some stuff and had it. So I used some of their pine and oak foliage. And that's all sprinkled in there. And I also did use some of the Woodland Scenics. I like purple. That's my favorite color. So you'll permit me to have a little bit of lavender, purple type colors here on the layout. I like it, so you'll see it sprinkled throughout. Not a lot, just some. So it's not everywhere, but there is a little bit everywhere here and there of lavender. So that's kind of what it's looking like. Again, needs a lot more detail work, a lot more of the verticalness added to it, but for now, I think it's good enough. And then, like I said, I did add some details in around that little culvert. Some wild stuff growing up there, and there's a little footpath that I mentioned for the fellas and their gals to walk across without the gals getting all dirty or wet. So hopefully it shows up okay. Again, it's harder. I'm doing stuff on the layout. I'm not doing this at my workbench. I'm not doing a diorama. This is on an actual layout. So to me, it's a little harder to work sometimes because I have to keep standing on a stool to reach in there and do stuff. It's not quite as nice as some of the videos we see where people are at a bench making a little diorama. This is actually on the layout. And if it looks bad, it's going to be on the layout, and I got to fix it on the layout. That's okay. But let me see if I can get this to look any better. Maybe not that. So you're going to see the paths in there, and it kind of goes up into the woods, and then all that's going to be trees, so it's going to look a lot different once you get the trees in. And that other side of it, this has all been covered, kind of in other updates, but there's some of the details along there. The house. Whatnot. The signs are all kind of laying because I was afraid I was going to break them off, so I had to go back and put some of the road signs back in. So that's it. One big hunk of teddy bear fur. Cut, trimmed, path put in, painted. It was too light, painted again. Okay, brought over, glued down. Worked in the other foliage, the scatters, the Heki leaf and the Tremendous leaf. Started adding vertical stuff. Some of those, just to cover, this is the Flor horse tail. And you kind of cut that and then bend it in half and cut it so it looks like some of a scruffy vertical weed growing there. So hopefully it looks okay. I can say I'm happy with it so far. Again, it does need some more detail work, and that's okay. I mean, but now I've gotten to the point I do want to finish this a little bit more. So I'm going to work a little bit more on this here. And then, like I said, if you kind of see roughly where that real dark area, that's all going to be trees. So it's going to look substantially different once I get the trees in it. But now I'm to the point, yeah, it needs some more work. Yes, it needs some work along the edges of the track. It needs some more work on this embankment, but it's far enough along I can run trains. Things look nice and pretty, or prettier, and I got a lot of work to do over here yet. So I wanted to let this set for a while. I still got a crossing to put in over here that I've been, if you notice, I've been delaying getting to because it's going to be a pain. I should probably work on trying to get some of this done here. That area down there. I want to get the trees along that side there, kind of as a view block here between Wallace Junction down there, Lake City up here. Put some of those trees in. Similar trees to what we're going to put up there. Big, gnarly, burly, unkept trees. I think I'm going to have to make my own because nothing I've tried comes even close to what I'm looking to do. So it's just going to be a lot of work, but that's okay. take our time, we'll get it done. In fact, that tree right there is probably just a stand-in. I mean, I think it looks all right, but it's not, you know, really what I want. But I thought, you know, just need a single tree there, maybe one other one or something like that. But so that is it. So, you know, overall, saying the peninsula is probably about 85%. You know, it's a lot more presentable, I think, certainly than it was before. So, not too bad. Not too bad. Try to get in close and see if this looks like. I mean, does it look like a field? Does it look like tall grass? Does it look like something that you, if you were HO scale, you'd walk in there and go, ah, I'm in a field. The embankment might need a little bit more work, but we'll see. Okay. Let me see if I can get a close in from the other side just to see how things look from over there. Alright, here's the view down the road. And one last view from this side. I don't want to bore you all with it, but I just wanted to at least let you see what it looks like, so you can kind of say, yeah, that looks okay, or it's a good technique, maybe I'll try it. Or, oh my gosh, that looks like crap. Although I don't think it does. I think it actually looks pretty darn good. I was a little apprehensive, didn't know how it would work. And then the final thing I think that really kind of did, like I said, was putting that the leaf foliage in there by Heki and Tremendous. To me, that really kind of brought it to life, and that'd be kind of fun to walk through there in HO scale. I'm going to pause here. Do have some details to add, and we'll do a special request here. That's the hot lady on the lawnmower going to town. Alright, there you go. You do realize it's a plastic HO scale figure, right? Okay, just checking. Alright. So the one thing I might do, and just draw another real quick wrap up then, is get some of these details in. And decide I have another little clip on some details. Probably show it before this. You know, do I want to put a fence in, that wooden fence? Well, wood post with kind of the wire fence along the side there. I don't know yet. Okay. Enough chit chat. Hopefully it was. It looks interesting. It was interesting, and I know I learned something. So hopefully others learned something as well. Maybe it's a technique that you want to try. If you do, let us know. Love to see how other people make this work for their layout. All right, got some of the details placed in there. There's the lovely watch out for fork truck sign. And one of those little, I don't know what it is. It was there though, so there it is. And put another of those guys over here just to put it in. And then I noticed that this guy's taking pictures, but I know why, because he's never seen such a giant teddy bear before. Ah! There's Joshua. He's from the Teddy Bear Association of the United States. When he heard of what I was doing, he's here to supervise and inspect and make sure nothing bad happens. So he's overseeing the area. He likes it. He thinks it looks pretty good. He wishes I used silk floor mats and not teddy bear fur, but he's okay with it. And then over on here, put some of the signs back, and then just added the, you know, I don't really know how they would go, where they would go, but just to put them in there, and got the road signs reinstalled. So now it looks like a nice little scene there as you come off the bridge. So Josh, you alright with everything? Yes, everything's okay. There you go. Okay. That is how you do a teddy bear fur field, I guess. Or at least let me say that's how we did it. So, okay. I'm going to see how Josh is feeling. He might be heading out today soon. We got more work to do. Okay, quick wrap up. Final thoughts. I think earlier Sparky had asked, do you think that this is easier than static grass? And in this particular case, given this large an area, I don't know that I personally could have made static grass work. Static grass certainly has its applications and I think is a viable tool, but for an area this large, I don't know that I have the skill to make static grass look great. I do okay with static grass. I never seem to get it to stand up right. I don't know, something I'm done, not doing right, but for this large an area, I think you need something like teddy bear fur, maybe some of the sill floor mats, or another technique for this large an area. And then, like I said, really adding that the leaf foliage that I mentioned from Heki and Tremendous, I think really kind of brought this field to life. So I would not try it with static grass. Someone else with more skills certainly probably could do it. I think this is a viable, the teddy bear fur is definitely a viable technique for a larger area like this. Does take some time. I'd say it probably took me three 10-hour days, so about 30 hours, you in terms of labor. The teddy bear fur itself is relatively inexpensive, and the leaf foliages are relatively inexpensive, although not if you're a nutcase like me and you buy stuff from the UK. But for most of us, a lot of the scenery stuff I mentioned, nearly all of it, except the Tremendous stuff, can be bought at Scenic Express. So it's certainly not hard to get. Now, I take that back. That MP scenery, that love grass, you cannot get that at Scenic Express. They don't carry it. But GLX scale models up in Canada does carry MP scenery items. And then, some of the other stuff is Woodland Scenics. All things that really, 98% of the things used to make this field are available from Scenic Express, so it's not hard to get. Teddy bear fur, I forget where I bought it. It was somewhere where they sell all kinds of teddy bear stuff, so that's probably readily available out there. All right, so like I said, good technique. I like it. I'm glad I tried it. I know I didn't do a step-by-step how-to, but I didn't feel comfortable trying that because I had no idea what was going to happen. Maybe next time. If I use this technique somewhere else, maybe I will try to do a little more actual how-to. But those videos take time, and I'll be honest, I don't spend a huge amount of time on these videos, as you probably can tell. They're just kind of me, babbling and showing you what I did. Real good how-tos, like, people such as Luke Towan do. They're outstanding videos, but they take time. I don't know, maybe Luke will stop by and comment, but I guarantee his videos take a while to make, because they're so well done. And I'm just kind of videotaping and doing a little bit of editing and slapping it on YouTube. And again, my priority, not to sound, pompous, is really working on the layout, not necessarily doing YouTube videos. I want to get the layout done. And yeah, I'll video as I'm going along, but I'm not going to spend my life, making YouTube videos. I've made a lot of them, but again, they're not really, for us, as of yet, all that involved. All right, enough. There it is. That's the technique. Let us know what you think. Look okay? Something viable to be used? I'm happy with it. I really am. So I think it's a good technique, something that I'm probably going to try later on in other areas. And, something to add to your modeler's toolkit for scenery. All right, thanks for bearing along. I know it's a long video. The last two have been long. So we'll try to keep these a little bit shorter going forward. But hopefully it did help out. At least give you some ideas, some food for thought as you try to make scenery for your own layout. So again, everybody, thanks for watching.